Hey writers, Quinlan here. I wanted to do this quick video on, learning to write later in life. As you know from the first video I did in Writing Life, that I didn't write my first book until I turned 40. And at that time, I was already working a full-time job. I had already, I have a bachelor's in biology, so I was like schooled out and living in Southern California and single, so a little strapped for cash at the time. But the question is, how to learn the craft of writing without going back to this big university route and getting like your fine arts degree and so forth. And that's what I was looking for. And I was looking not to delve into the recesses of writing and literature and all that stuff. Like, I specifically wanted to learn how to write romance. And I'm like, well, how do I do that? I was trying to write my first book at the time. And there was a lot that I didn't know. But the one thing I do know is that when you're trying to set out to do something, it's much easier if you get around, like-minded people. And so, thank goodness for the internet, because that's the first place I went. And I just tried to find like local writing groups. Meetup came about a little bit later, and that made it even easier. I just moved recently. I grew up in Southern California. I was in Florida, and now I'm in Colorado. But everywhere I go, I look to get plugged in. I try out these different groups, and there's actually a ton of writing groups here in my new neck of the woods. But lo and behold, there's tons of organizations where you can go and just be around other writers. And just the energy of being around other people who are working on the same thing you are will fill you with motivation, and you'll just naturally pick up nuggets of things. In my case, there happened to be fabulous local romance writing chapters. Actually, there's a large umbrella organization called Romance Writers of America, and they have online classes if you become a member of Romance Writers of America. I took some of those online classes, and they were fabulous as far as learning how to get down the craft, as far as like points of view and trying not to head hop, or active versus passive writing, the story structure from beginning to end, or if you're writing a series, how would you lay out the structure, the progression of the story over 3 books or more, and whatever you're working on. And at the local writing chapters, and these were not expensive, like these classes in the memberships were not really that expensive, compared to like a big formal route with university, which I didn't want to do. And I found like it was like my new sisterhood. I felt like I had arrived home. I found a lot of ladies, very smart, talented, driven, successful women who had written a lot of books, but we were all different levels. Like, I was a newbie coming in, and then everything to like famous authors being in the group. It was amazing. And then I went to a few local conferences. Those are a little pricier, but you might have one in your backyard. So I encourage you, Google the heck out of, writing conferences, online writing classes. There's probably plenty of YouTube things on writing, or do it the old-fashioned ways I did as well. Read some books on writing. I read a lot, obviously, so I read a few books. One of my favorites was written by Stephen King on writing. And even if it's just like, of course you're going to pick up from the master some nuggets in that, but also just the journey of writing, the struggle of writing. And it just fills you with motivation to know that, you're not alone. It's like, when I was learning how to play guitar, everyone goes through the same thing. You got to learn, strengthen your fingers and learn the notes, and then it's just practice from there. That being said, you do want to make sure, like in anything, right, you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most. So you want to hang out with people who are a little bit ahead of you, that are going to push you. Not that you want to be a complete sponge. You want to try to also bring something to the table yourself, maybe in a different aspect. Maybe you're good at techie stuff or social media. A lot of the ladies that I ran into in my writing groups weren't very tech savvy, so they might need help with making memes for social media. and the exchange they're helping you, you know, with writing. You guys have this synergy going on that makes it a mutually beneficial group. So yeah, so that was my journey. I'm still learning. I think all writers are. In fact, most writers will tell you they don't want to look at the first book they wrote, because you kind of cringe because you've evolved since then, and you always want to like take it back and edit it and rewrite it and make it better. But you know, there's a certain point at which, you know, it's good enough and it's time to put it out there, and the readers just want to read your next fabulous story. So that's my advice to you, and I highly encourage you not to give up. It's all about practice and persistence and learning and having fun. Oh my gosh, yeah, having fun with your writing. There's so many times I've just made myself laugh out loud from something I came up with making the characters do. So it can be fun as well, and not that you're gonna have moments of struggle. We all do, but mostly when you're doing something you love, it tends to flow. It tends to flow, and you'll love it, and you'll want to keep going. So those are my tips on learning to write later in life. I hope they helped you, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye.